What is going on, everybody? Been a diehard Pistons fan since '03 and eager to see this team getting back playing winning basketball. The Detroit Pistons just wrapped up their second game of the season, losing to the Cleveland Cavilers by 113 to 101. In this video, we're going to highlight a couple individual performances that I do want to talk about, but the better half of this video is going to be about the team as a whole. It's still super early in the year, so I don't want to have any huge takeaways, but we do need to talk about what we saw on the floor tonight because it was a pretty interesting game. So the first player that I do want to highlight quick is going to be Cade. He finished with 33 points, 4 boards, and 6 assists. He was 14 of 24 from the floor. However, he did have 9 turnovers. Once we get through these player highlights, the turnovers topic is going to be a team-wide one, so I'll hold off on saying too much until then. So the second player that I do want to highlight is going to be Jaden Ivey. Jaden Ivey finished with 22 points, 5 boards, 3 assists, was 50% from the floor. He was 2 of 5 from 3. He was able to get to the free throw line more tonight, which was awesome to see. Has been a trend, and I think something that he can really build on. Last year, we really struggled with getting to the free throw line as a team. Jaden Ivey has the most physical tools to be able to consistently draw fouls on this team. So really happy about him just really kind of continuing to do what he did in the preseason and showing strides in that aspect. So moving on, the last guy that I do want to highlight before we get into the team-oriented stuff, which is a lot, is going to be Malik Beasley. Malik Beasley finished the game with 13 points. Nothing too crazy, but all 13 of those points felt really crucial. Most of them came in the first half. He really kept us afloat when the game was still within striking distance. A lot of shots that he made were tough ones, coming off movement, off the ball, knocking it down, contested. Quite a few of them. I said, wow, it's been a while since we had a player on the team that could make shots like that. So was impressed with him coming off the bench. Now to talk about the team-oriented stuff. It was a 12-point loss, but it felt like it could have been a lot more because there was a lot of sloppiness as the Pistons as a team finished with 22 turnovers and 22 fouls. They also had 3 technical fouls, and out of those 3 things, techs, fouls, and turnovers, they led to a lot of free and easy points for the Cavs. Cade had 9 of the 22 turnovers, definitely needs to be taking better care of the ball. A lot of those came early in the game, even though there was 9 of them, and that is a huge number, not as an excuse or anything like that, because he definitely needs to do a better job of taking care of the ball going forward. Not all 9 of them were exactly only his fault. A couple of them were fumbled passes to Stewart. One of them happened in garbage time. It is what it is at this point. I don't expect to see Cade continuing to have that many turnovers, and it wasn't just on him, because he's our primary ball handler, but every single player on the team that got any minutes more than the last 2 minutes of garbage time at least had 1 turnover. I'm not kidding. I'm looking at the box score right now. Every single player in the Pistons 10-man rotation had at least 1 turnover. Just need to do a better job of taking care of the ball, especially considering so many of those led to just free, wide open breakaway buckets for the Cavs at the most crucial times. And also on top of that, they finished with 22 fouls. Jalen Duren had 5, Stewart had 5, Cade had 4, Ivy had 4. That led to both of our bigs, Duren and Stewart, having to go to the bench earlier than JB probably would have liked to put them there. Paul Reed ended up getting his first minutes of the season. He finished the game with 7 minutes, mostly just playing due to that foul trouble. So it's really a wonder that this game was not more of a bigger deficit, just because it's really hard to win, let alone keep a game within striking distance when you have 22 turnovers and 22 fouls. That stuff, I think, will get cleaned up. It's still so early in the year. You can write a lot of it off to new coach, new system, new teammates, going up against one of the better defenses and just generally one of the better teams in the NBA tonight. So really depends on how you want to take it, but I really wouldn't put too much stock into it just because it's only been 2 games. So outside of that, really nothing too wild about this game. I mean, the ball was moving pretty well for most parts. When it wasn't moving, we were getting good shots anyways. from Cade. The defense looked pretty locked in for the first couple minutes, and then after that, there was a lot of fouls and a couple blown assignments, leading to some pretty open three-pointers from guys like Dean Wade, Darius Garland, dudes who you don't want to leave open. And that was really the story of the night. The Pistons did finish shooting the ball pretty well, and I think that's kind of something that helped them keep them in the game when the turnovers were going crazy and the fouls were going crazy. But that's probably something you can expect going forward pretty often, because dudes like Tim Hardaway, Malik Beasley, they were just out there doing their job and knocking down their shots. So pretty happy to see that in a vacuum. Going back to tomorrow, they do have to play the Celtics now. I warned you guys, this could be a pretty hard stretch for the Pistons. Really hard schedule, open up out of the gates, playing the best team in basketball tomorrow on a back-to-back. Not something I'm super excited, but there was good takeaways tonight. I know that nobody wants to hear that because of last year and how things have gone over the course of the last 5 years, but there was good takeaways. I mean, Jaden Ivey looks like he's taken a leap. All that stuff that we saw in the preseason is more or less translated, even if it's been on a little bit smaller volume. Cade, he's scoring the ball at will when he does get to his spots. Everything has looked really solid, and all the vets are doing exactly what they were brought here and prescribed to do, which is space the floor and shoot. There was one action today in particular where Cade, Ivy, and Duran ran a little three-man game with Tobias and Beasley spacing out the floor, and it led to a super easy wide-open layup for Jaden Ivey. And in my mind, I could just envision that exact same action happening last year, and both of the wing defenders just collapsing down at once and contesting the layup. But since there was a couple dudes out in the corners who could actually knock down the shot, Ivy just weighed the ball up uncontested. So nice takeaway from that. The spacing does seem real. The defensive intensity is high. It was just a little sloppy tonight with all the fouls. The players still seemed really into it. Cade, Beasley, Holland all got technical fouls. JB was on the refs all night. I can't say that I was like super upset with the refs, because there was a couple calls that I felt like went our way as well, but they just have to clean up the fouls regardless. Even if the refs were trying to help them out in some regard, which they weren't, they had way too many fouls tonight that were obvious and a lot of times coming at the worst moments within the game. So that's really all I've got to say about this game. It was hard in a vacuum to watch, but it is so early in the season that it's hard to be too upset about it. I've warned you guys multiple times the start of the year could get brutal here, just because we're playing teams like the Cavs, like the Celtics tomorrow, that are projected to be not only in the playoffs, but on top of the playoff seeding in the top 4 seeds. So some tough matchups here, and they're not going to let up anytime soon. So would love to find a way to win one of these games, even if it's tomorrow against the Celtics. That'd make me super happy, because I think there's a lot of good things that are going on out there, and would love to have something to hang our hat on and kind of be able to talk about that in more of a positive manner, because I know no Pistons fans wants more moral victories. It's been too long of doing that. So let me know what you guys think. We'll catch up soon.